Okay, so I got the Todd's blaster in, the fully assembled one. I did post on the Facebook group, the Han Solo Smuggler costume group, just my first impressions of it. It came a little bit damaged. It's not a huge deal, but this looks like they tried to thread it, and it came in stripped. So there was nothing but the post in here wobbling all around. And it was also boxed, just kind of like in a box. So that's a little disappointing. But regardless, I would have put the nut in here anyway, just to secure it, because that's a lot of weight to put on such a small, thin part of the frame, especially just with the Denix metal, the pot metal. It's just so soft. But the Denix casting itself is super clean. The scopes that I got in, I got one just with the blaster that was on the blaster, and then I got another just by itself. This is on the Field Marshal mount. We'll get into that in a minute. But all of the scopes that I've gotten in have come in a little bit different from another run to run. The first ones that I got were just the regular, no optics or anything like that. It was on the first run. Those were great. The text here, the engraving, was really pretty big on here. This looks a lot better. Looks a little bit different than the last run that I got. Which here I actually have my... It's never finished, but the hero that I have right now on there, so you can just kind of see these are not finished either, so don't judge that too harsh. But the engraving's just a little bit different run to run. Dimensionally, they all seem the same. Finish wise, they've all been the same, if not improved on each one, so that's good. They had problems, as always, with the run. They always have issues with whoever's machining them, which is just kind of what you get, which sucks for them just to have to deal with. But they did not put the crosshairs in. They asked if I wanted the crosshairs. It was going to take a little bit longer to do that. I'm moving soon. I didn't want to have to deal with having all of those maybe come to the right address, maybe not, that sort of thing. So these don't have it. Not a huge deal. It'd be nice, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, the fit on the bolt barrel to the Denix is the best that I've seen. This is super tight in here. Still not tapered, oh well. But really nice and tight in here. I'm still debating how I'm going to go about coloring the Denix once I've kind of fixed everything on the upper receiver, as much as I can anyway. Because the blue looks great. You can get the Denix to blue. It takes a long time, but you can totally do it. But I don't know. The nice thing is on the one that I'm building for somebody else, I'm using a different upper because I'm going to use the proper tapered shape on the sleeve barrel from Field Marshal. So this I'll use aluminum black, and it should get to about the same color as I'll get with the aluminum black on the their Denix on the upper. Now, the scope mount came in. This is glued in. That's going to be a pain just to get off. You can see I tried a little bit, scratched on the surface a bit. I just didn't want to mar it up too much. The uprights, I'll move this up so we get a little bit more contrast. The uprights are much more accurate than they have been, and the past are nice and thin. On here before, they were maybe half an inch wide. It was really heavy. That added quite a bit of weight to it. This, not so much. And you can also see this profile on here also looks really pretty good. The flash hider, which I've got a couple of, that's not Todd's. This one's Field Marshals. This one is the Todd's. Steel, it's really nice. It's a little rough around some of the edges from the other one that I have on my current hero. I'm going to hold that up too. I think this one's from the third run. But it's just a little rougher. I do think that the holes are more accurate. They're a little bit smaller. I didn't bring out calibers or anything, but dimensionally also a little bit different than the Field Marshal. I just sent out Dark Energy Creations one, so I don't have that to compare it to right now. I mentioned before, I thought that profile from the cone to like kind of the body, I guess, the large cylinder of the Flash Rider was a little bit different. These look pretty much the same, so that might have just been the other run that I had. They're a little bit different in size though. As you can see, that Todd's a little longer all around, and also kind of that cut just before the scallops is a little bit different. Overall, I would still probably go with the Todd's if you have the option, just because it's steel. It's going to look, the color's just going to be a lot more accurate. I've heard Scott, JUA, say he's been able to blue aluminum. I think he was referring to one of the scopes that he had done. I'd be really curious as to how to do that, because when I've used the aluminum black, it just pretty much goes straight black. So I don't know if you got to heat it a lot or something like that, but what are you going to do? Steel, aluminum, they both look great. Just depends on how you're going to do it. The crossbar looks really good. Everything on the as issued one comes in blued. I'll show you how to take that off. You don't have to sand it or anything crazy like that. Get into like all the little nooks and crannies on any of the knobs or anything. This is still the diamond knurled, but you can just see it's blued. That's really easy to get off. I've seen people sand it and all that. You don't have to do that. You put it in white vinegar for however long you really want, and it comes right off. Do not put any of the Denix parts in vinegar. It will eat it away really, really, really quick. Just make sure that that's just the steel parts that come in. Getting the Denix finish off, we'll talk about another time. That's also shockingly easy to do that too. Just get a little look at the width there. The dimensions on the Field Marshal versus the Todd's, again, quite a bit different. You can see the Field Marshal's a lot wider. I think the Field Marshal is also the longer one, if I remember right. Oh, no, the Todd's was the longer one. Not much of a difference. I do like the look of the Field Marshal a little bit more than the Todd's, just because of the height on there. But this feels more sized to a Mauser, and this one feels more sized to a Denix. So I think the gestalt of putting this one onto the Denix is going to look a little bit more correct to your eye than this, but they're both going to look great. What other parts came on the Todd's? Todd's is still shipping them with the plastic grip, so that's going to get swapped out. I have a couple sets of the Dark Energy Creations grips on hand, and I have a couple more coming. These are awesome. I do have a Boba Det coming in that, again, I'm going to Frankenstein. That's going to have the wood Denix grips with the right screw. But guess it's a bolt. But anyway, these just look great.